Ladies and boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the best collaboration of all across YouTube. Welcome back to the Burgandy Breakdown, brought to you by the four handsome fellows you see on the screen. Starting off with
Reedy.
Z.
And one
John.
Gotti. Oh,
Yes,
shit.
sir. Oh, you good? Hey,
I
hey.
thought you was gonna go laugh. I thought you was gonna go
my
laugh.
bad.
I ain't gonna lie. That abrupt pause. I thought you was gonna introduce us. Oh, I ain't know you was gonna point to Reedy. So that it caught me off guard. My fault. My fault.
I ain't gonna hold y'all. That took me back to like a strip club, like announcer type vibe. That was like low key.
Four
weird.
handsome guys.
I ain't gonna hold you, John. You gotta chill.
Hey man, all right, my bad. That's on me. But fellas, how we feeling? Welcome back. What's going on?
Man, busy day, bro. Busy day. Ready to talk about it. Excited. It's a lot to discuss, and let's get it.
I'm feeling good as well. I'm feeling good, man. I mean, look, last time we talked, none of the Deebo Samuel wasn't a commander. The draft combine was just about to start up, and so much has changed in a week. I'm feeling good, and I can't wait to talk about this new commander look. And I do want to say, I know we're gonna get to it, but god dang, DK, you couldn't have requested a trade 5 days earlier, bro. God dang.
Yeah, no question, man. Just getting back. I went out of town for the weekend, a little bit over the weekend. And the news dropped, and I'm just like, what? I had to call Z to confirm to make sure I was looking at what I thought I was looking at. But yeah, man, just it's crazy, and we had a whole show planned out for y'all today, but looks like we're scrapping that because of this news that came out today. John, what's up with that?
Man, let's start with man. DK Metcalf requested to be traded. Christian Kirk expected to be cut or traded. Tyler Lockett got his old self sent to Las Vegas. Let's be honest. He's going to go meet up with Pete Carroll. A bunch of guys got signed. One guy retired. A few dealt to Chicago. It's been an interesting 36 hours for this NFL community. But the big name on the trade market, DK squads 450, but not as much as Aaron Donald. Metcalf has requested a trade from the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be, I think, the biggest name on the trade market now since T. Higgins got franchise tagged, since Christian Kirk's, although he's going to be cut. I don't see him being the big name splash. DK Metcalf is the neon sign, is the premier name on this trade market. How are we feeling about this?
Man, y'all already heard a sneak peek of me. Let me first start by saying I like the Deebo Samuel move. I'm fine with it. But God, I would give it back for DK Metcalf. Why couldn't he do this a couple days prior so we would have shipped off what we did, or at least worked out something to get him here? I would much rather have DK than Deebo. I don't want to throw no shots at Deebo because I'm rocking with him, but it's just crazy. It's not a surprise. We've been all over this for the past couple of months. It's been rumors and hints that this was going to happen, but I don't know, man. What's going on with that NFC West, man? Cooper Kupp, then DK and Tyler the same day, and then the 49ers ultimately just about to be in a rebuild all of a sudden. Like, it's crazy over there. I'm still looking at their stuff like, hey, what's up? Tyler Hufanga was good. Like, hey, Brandon, are you trying to reconstruct that contract? Like, I'm looking for all they goods, man, because we know we got the ties to them. But it's just crazy. Joe Thuney traded to the Bears, right? I just want to make sure it was the Bears. And I saw just a little funny thing just to kind of remind y'all how much the Bears are just so fascinated with Jaden Daniels. I go to Twitter to check out the trade. The first comment says Commanders fans are going to see what a real quarterback looks like, unlike Jaden Daniels. I'm just like, y'all made a trade for a player, and the first thing you think of is Jaden Daniels, bro. Like, come on, dog. Like, that's just insane.
Rent free.
Right, yeah, like, it's just crazy. Like, you can't get over it. I understand it, but more of the story, man. I'm feeling good. The DK Metcalf trade is not a surprise, but I'm a little bit upset because I want him here, and I don't know if it's still a possibility how it would have been if we didn't make the Deebo Samuel move.
Yeah, I say for me, man, starting out, DK was definitely not of course, I knew that, it's been talks that he, potentially could be moved and things of that nature. And he wasn't the top of my list. I feel like that for the stature, the athletic ability that he have, I don't feel like he always maximized that. And I feel like he was a whiner. So, initially it's like, nah, I'd rather some other guys over DK. Then we went and got Deebo. Super excited about that. Definitely one of them situations where, we're not in a long-term situation. I feel like we, let him play this 1 year out, see how it goes, and then we can, give him an extension and, see how that plays out. But when DK today requested the trade, I'm like, I call Reedy off ASAP, like, oh shit. Do we go all in? Do we get super aggressive? You talking Terry, Deebo in the slot, or move Deebo around like you do, and I have DK on the other side. Like, that's like those three together, sign me up. And I feel like, we still have the Terry McLaurin extension in our pocket. So it's when you add that extension, that gives us back some cap space for this year. Also with John Allen, whether it's via trade or release, however it may be, you still got that $16 million in your pocket. So it feel like, if we make those two moves, you make the DK situation not look bad, and you still got other money to do other things. And I just think that'll be like super dynamic and give Jaden like some crazy weapons to, to make this offense like truly lethal. With that, you still can make moves in the draft, whether it's get another running back or, do free agents, get some linemen, however it may be. But I'm looking at it as of today, like, oh shit, like we should really try to make this deal and get it done. But as I said, prior to, before getting Deebo, I wasn't really a fan of getting DK. Because I even said it like on the last show, how much I wasn't a fan of it, but shit, them three together, man, that'd be crazy.
That would be the entire 2019 draft class right there. DK, Deebo, and Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to chime in because Z and his uncle tried to call me out yesterday morning. I was out of town, like I told y'all before. So when the when the Deebo Samuel news broke, I was on a cruise ship. I was somewhere in the Bahamas on some Pirates of the Caribbean Wi-Fi. So it wasn't that good of a connection. And I called and I just was like, bro, I seen something that said, Deebo to the Commanders. Is it true? He was like, yeah. I was like, what was the conversation? He was like, a 5th round pick. I was like, I bet I'll call you back. My wife was right there. So, I had to get off the phone. I was on vacation. Couldn't really be talking about, podcast stuff or the Washington Commanders at that point. So I let it go. So I finished my trip. I come back yesterday. Z want to talk about Reedy not sold on Deebo. He ain't had no excitement for this pickup, this, that, and the third. Excitement for what? I was not expecting Deebo Samuels to be the first chip to fall. So excuse me that I'm a little taken back by it. I don't really have a reaction yet. I apologize that I don't have the reaction that you were looking for. I'm not used to this stuff.
The trade was Saturday, I believe.
The trade was Saturday, but I'm still processing it. Give me time to process this thing.
Respect.
I've been asking for years why we can't go get this guy for a 5th round pick. Why we can't go get that guy for a 6th round pick when these teams go and they make these outlandish deals for these top tier good players. And I'm always the one like, damn, we couldn't have gave up a 3rd. Like, we ain't had that. You know what I'm saying? So it does definitely feel good. It's a breath of fresh air to be in that conversation, to basically give up nothing. And when you talk about the fact that Jonathan Allen is probably going to be released, that $16 million basically just kind of like wipes out the Deebo contract. So we're starting afresh where we were. So this Terry McLaurin extension is going to be big. You talk about a guy like DK Metcalf that came on the market today. Like you said before, Z, I concur with you. Like, that's big. That talent from those guys in that draft class in our building would be crazy, would be insane. Like, that would show that we're all in for right now. You go get DK, you already got Deebo, you got Terry. You bring back a De'Ami Brown, depending on what the price is. At that point, or you may go out and sign I'm hearing rumblings of Christian Kirk or a Hollywood Brown who Z is high on, that'd be big for our receiver room. And then you go in the draft and you draft one of these running backs that we talked about ad nauseum last week on this same program. So for me, I don't really know what to say. I'm just not used to this, fellas. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna have to bear with me, but I'm super excited about Deebo in the building. But if we can get DK Metcalf, oh my God, we are back.
Yeah.
Man, that being said, I think the only kicker, kicker, no pun intended, but with the DK trade is Seattle's going to want a player back in return, and at minimum, a second round pick for DK. At a minimum, we thought, Myles Garrett is going to warrant big trade value if the Browns trade him, because they've held strong of them saying we ain't trading 95, we ain't doing it. We don't know what Seattle's going to say tomorrow. Mike Macdonald come out and say, we really love DK. We appreciate all the efforts we do, and we want to do right by him. Or he could pull and say, nah, fam, you staying right here. And he would just hold out the whole year. But the rumors are the Chargers and the Packers, they've got trade capital. More so the Packers, they've got a little bit of depth. They got the receivers, Dontayvion Wicks, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson's coming off, I think, an ACL, Romeo Dobbs. They've got enough depth at receiver. If they went, hey, we'll give you Romeo Dobbs a second and a sixth for DK, Seattle would say, cool, we're going to take another receiver with your second round pick, and we just added someone to pair it with a Jake Bobo and JSN. We cool. Chargers, I think, can do it because that gets you that number, that 1B to Ladd McConkey's 1A, because Ladd McConkey's that smooth route runner with good hands. DK is that physical, tall receiver, what Quinn Johnson was supposed to be. But I don't know if we're going to have the capital per se, meaning draft compensation, unless we start dealing out next year's picks, to go get a DK Metcalf at this rate, if we're still targeting Myles Garrett. That's my only concern.
I don't think they get a second, though.
I
don't think they get a second. I think it's going to be more like a third or a fourth, and you know what I mean? And like you said, maybe they throw in a receiver, because with him pushing the envelope that he wanted to trade, and everybody already knew that, no, Seattle don't really want to pay him that money. You know what I mean? And it's been known that he was going to be available anyway. He just requested a trade pretty late. So I don't think they get a second for him. I think it'll be more in that third or fourth range with like with a receiver. But I mean, like you said, on them only wanting a receiver or trying to require a receiver, then that puts us in a situation and have to throw Luke in there. I mean, shit, get him the hell out of here if that's going to get us DK Metcalf. I don't care. But, nobody probably want Luke. So it's one of those things where we will have to, throw in another pick or something, or, even if they would take John Allen. I kind of saw on, I think it was Josh Taylor, he kind of predicted Arizona, Seattle, and another team out west. Houston, to be interested in John Allen. So if Seattle will bite on that, then that's a win for us. Shit, John Allen for DK straight up would be a miracle, but John Allen and a third and shit, even a next year fourth or something like that, I probably would do just to make it happen, because like I said, that offense would be crazy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Z. I think it's going to take a third and a player. If you can get rid of a John Allen, to send him over there and maybe kind of sweeten the pot, because we got to take on that salary. Even if we do re-sign him, we still got to re-sign Terry. So I don't know if they want to. And then you still got Deebo. I believe Deebo is probably going to be on a prove it deal, but at the same time, like, that's 3 receivers that you got to worry about signing within the next year. So I don't know how that will work. So we can still stay in those Myles Garrett sweepstakes. But at some point, we're gonna have to move on. We can't keep playing this dance with Cleveland, and they're not going to trade him. Like, we got to do what's best for us at this point, because there's players out there to be had. We got other holes that we need to fill. Don't get me wrong, edge is a major need that we need to fill, but I feel as though we can. It's other people out there. You got Joey Bosa that's probably going to get cut. You got Max Crosby re-signed today, so he's off the board. And
Yeah,
then you
Mac.
still got Dante Fowler Jr. and we have Dorrance
Mac,
Armstrong already on the roster. So that's a guy that we could possibly kick the can down the road and bring back. And then maybe look to draft somebody to develop somebody.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I don't know though. I just feel like the longer Cleveland wait, the less and less the price gonna fall. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
well, I mean, the more the price is gonna fall, because I mean, you get closer and closer to the draft, or free agency start going through. Teams ain't gonna be giving up certain stuff, so their best chances to strike now. And just like somebody in the comments just mentioned, DK did. It's a report that came out. DK wants to go to a contender, so. Like I was telling you earlier, Reedy, they just can't trade him anywhere because the other team gonna want to know that, he would be interested in re-signing there. So, ain't nobody, say if the Raiders want the Raiders probably be a good fit for Pete Carroll's sense. But if it's a non-contender try to be in the mix, they gonna want to know that they gonna want that security. And so a lot of these guys wanting to go to contenders, us finally being a contender helps us a lot. So we'll see how the chips fall, but I'm just excited for the being in the conversation.
So let me take it back right quick. Hey, Reedy, man. First of all, I think it's just the PTSD still trying to fight its way through you. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, for you to not have no reaction at all is not even a what? Like not even something like hold on, huh? Like nothing is kind of crazy.
Not to cut you off. This is how the conversation went. He FaceTimed me. First of all, it was like 30 minutes after the situation. So it's like they on vacation. His son like to rip and run around. So him and his wife just chilling. All right, it's cool. You chilling with your wife, you ain't call me immediately. That's cool. I understand that. Call my FaceTime my phone. I'm like, all right, he finally called. He look at the phone. So what they saying? First of all, that's the first question. He said, what they saying out there? Like, what you mean what they saying? We got Deebo. Oh, so yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. And what we give up? A fifth. All right, let me call you back. They're like, what? No, like immediately, like, I bet, like, oh, damn, like, all right, let me call you back. I'm like, cool, all right, cool. Maybe he might be busy at the moment. I talked to him like the next day or whatever. No conversation about Deebo. Get home. Normally it probably kick in. He'd call him like, yeah, so man, yeah, we talk literally 10, 15 times a day about what's going on with the team. And then when he get back, he's just like, oh yeah, so just casual conversation. I'm like, this nigga's not even happy. Yeah, he's just trying to play cool. But again, don't let Reedy fool y'all. And I told him this yesterday. I said, come the season, when Deebo out here turning the fuck up, he gonna be screaming, "That's my man! That's my man!" So he missed the switch up. So it's cool.
or the reverse. He said, "Get him out."
Yeah, or either that, or if he don't pan out, I told y'all he was some shit. I told y'all I wasn't so. So he like to play the 50. That's just Reedy though.
But nah, in this sense, I'm not playing the 50 though. Honestly, like I'm excited, but I just feel like I don't. Like I told Z earlier. I said I want to be one of them teams that has 3 receiver weapons, that has a take it the distance back, that has a nice tight end, and we got JD5 obviously. But I want to be one of them teams, and I don't know. Sometimes in my head, I just be thinking like, damn, like. Are they going to be like, oh, well, we can't mortgage the future? Are we going to get another Ronald Eugene Rivera? Like, I know AP's not that, but I'm just saying, in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, his salary is what, $21 million. Are they going to pull this shit and be like, oh, yeah, we can't go get another receiver? When all of the great teams in this league got 3 receivers, 3 good receivers at that. Not no mediocre receiver, even the mediocre receivers come in and turn up. You know what I'm saying? Because you got them dogs that's around them. That's all. I just want that for us. And I just hope that, like we can make another move. There's another corresponding move coming. Or we maybe draft somebody. That's all.
You know who you just described for me? Christian Kirk. Like you just described somebody that can come around 2 other dogs and elevate his game. I think that is the more realistic option. I would love DK Metcalf, but given the history with Cliff Kingsbury and given the fact that we've kind of been tied to him already, that is the perfect guy that I think you just described for who you would want to come. You know, a mediocre guy, which don't get me wrong, he still was a 1,000-yard receiver. He's not just no slouch, but he comes in and assume that third receiver role with Deebo technically being a number 2 as a weapon, probably more of a 2-ish, 3-ish as a Pacific wide receiver. But I think that's Christian Kirk all the way. However, for me, I do want more size in the wide receiver room because I think the reality has just set in for me that De'Ami Brown may not be returning to this team because of how good he was in the postseason. He has a market. People actually want him. I'm thinking we're gonna get him back for maybe a 1-year prove it, 2-year, $10-15 million deal. Nah, it may be somebody gonna pay him 3 years, 30. I think New England gonna do it. So that puts us in a situation. I think last week on the first episode, I kind of was hinting to an all veteran receiver core as a possibility. So hey, I'm all in for DK. I like what y'all was saying. That's it. That is a good point. That's the same thing I said about Myles Garrett as well. Is when we trade for these guys, if we talk about trading for them, we're gonna have to also extend them. So that means the draft compensation, they can't be asking for too much craziness because we still got to end up paying them at the end of the day. But I think you're fine, Reedy. I think you just gotta let go of that last little bit that's just trying to hang on. You know what I'm saying? And then the mortgage into the future. Look, AP ain't gonna do that. I'm trusting them. They ain't do nothing wrong. So even if they sit on their hands, I trust. The draft. They know they must know something about the draft that we don't know. But I highly doubt that. If push come to shove, the worst thing we probably do to address the receiving core again may be Christian Kirk. But I still think we're gonna be in on some other guys before we get to him.
But I would rather get a Hollywood Brown over a Christian Kirk. Hollywood.
I would too.
He's always injured, but I feel like Hollywood, that's your speed guy that we're that take the top off kind of guy, kind of similar in stature wise. But like you said, Juan, I do want a bigger bodied receiver. You know what I'm saying, like a 6'5", 6'4" guy, because we never really had that. You know what I'm saying, guy like that. And I was floating around the idea of maybe signing Keenan Allen, but everybody was like telling me that I was dumb because like who wants Keenan Allen? He's 34 years old. Like he's basically washed, like in a sense. And I just feel like Keenan Allen is your possession receiver. All your intermediate routes, your slant routes, your out routes, even your little fade balls in the red zone, like he's great at that. So I was throwing that out there, but Z made a good point that Keenan Allen may cost too much. But at this point in his career, like on a 1 or 2 year deal, I don't know.
Why everybody keep bringing up Cam Sims?
Yeah, about to say Cam Sims. He been in this league. Cam Sims is like a 30-year vet with 3 years experience. Like, come on.
I got a soft spot for Cam Sims because I always felt like he was underutilized, man. I felt like if he was utilized properly, he would have had about 500 receiving yards. But no, we ain't gonna get Cam Sims.
No, Cam Sims has made an impact in like 3 years.
That's crazy. I thought he was gonna make the roster after that touchdown in the preseason.
Man, I mean, I was telling this in the comments, but I think Reedy got PTSD, post-traumatic Snyder disorder, with the not being used to winning. But to be honest, I was like that like 2-3 months ago. I still wasn't used to us winning games, guys wanting to be here. Like I even once in a while catch myself like, we went 12-5. I don't feel like it, and I forget it's already March. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's on me. That's on me. But yeah, the trade and extend, it's gonna be interesting because y'all make great points. Is you're gonna have to give a good amount of capital and re-sign them for the future. So that's something what the Deebo thing was. Is San Francisco probably would have gotten a 4th for him if they took on some of that cap it. But because we took all the cap, they said, "Yeah, we'll give you a 5th because you're taking all the risk and reward. We're just taking your draft pick."
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair.
We helped them out.
Honestly, we did. Although, I mean, they're out here doing wrong by Brock Purdy, taking all his weapons away. But that's on them, not us. But Juan brought up a good point in the group chat. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago with Jonathan Allen. Is if we can't trade him, he just wants out. He just wants to be cut. He wants to be released. He wants to be gone from the team. Brandon, the death note, basura from the team. If we can't trade him for a 5th, a 6th, package him for a 4th, if we can't do any of that, what would y'all react if Adam Schefter said Jonathan Allen has been released from the Commanders?
Bye-bye. That's what I would say. Bye-bye. It is what it is.
I would say we need that cap relief. That's what I would say. Go out and sign somebody else with that money. That's what I would say. The writing's on the wall. John Allen, no, I've been not sweating John Allen the last 2-3 years. So like for him to, after he pulled that, like when he pulled, I think it was last year in the locker room where he was pouting, he was the first one on the bus. Ever since he did that, I kind of was like off John Allen. He put a bad taste in my mouth. No Diddy. So I wouldn't care.
Yeah. But yeah, where did it say that he wanted it to be released? I've been looking for it. Where did they report that at?
I'm gonna go back and look for it.
Yeah, I think when I was doing a video, I think it was what's that Washington command? I always use them, Riggo's Rags or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of put in one of their articles, I believe so. But it kind of caught me off guard because it put me in a point where I thought, okay, Washington was just doing this because they saw the lack of production and they saw the possibility of the money we can get back, but then come to find out he's asking for this release. But then someone brought up a good point as well, saying like he's planning on no guarantee money and he wants to go into a situation to where a team's going to pay him some guarantee money because say he's reworking out this summer and tore the pec. You know what I'm saying? He wants that assurance. So that makes sense on his behalf. It also makes sense on our behalf to not pay him that money because if we you know what I'm saying, keep him around to give him his guaranteed money, it's like, bro, what a production that you haven't shown us nothing over the past couple of years, but decline, but yell in the locker room saying how pissed you are, and you not even doing nothing that contributes to the team. You know what I'm saying? But if he's cut, I mean that's the ultimate reality at this point. Like after the Deebo Samuel trade, I was banging like we need to trade him now because we need draft picks. There's no way Adam Peters goes into the draft with 6-7 picks. It's no way. But like now it's kind of just after saying that we tried to include him in the San Francisco 49ers trade. And the only reason why they turned him down was because of that 1 year left on his contract. I'm about to take that $15-16 million deal. We'll just wait for him to be released and then sign him. So they would have taken it, but they would have taken him in the trade because it was originally supposed to be Deebo Samuel for Jonathan Allen. Straight up. It was supposed to just be that. But they looked at the contract situation and said, nah, we ain't about to take that. It's exact same as Deebo. Yeah. So if he gets cut, I mean, my first reaction is show me my money, like that coach in the locker room, bro. Like, tell him bring me my money.
Show me my money.
So, what do y'all feel about? Let me ask y'all this: what do y'all feel about if the Myles Garrett situation falls through and we're not able to trade for Myles Garrett at the draft or before the draft, and we get into a situation? Do you think we should maybe move off that pick, move back, and accumulate more picks because the worry of us not having a lot of picks and go that route, or what do you think we should just choose someone at 29 or what? What are you saying, John, based off of the draft scenarios and things of that nature?
I would. It's going to depend on who's there because we've all seen it. Analysts say it all the time. Good players fall. We saw last year with Quinion Mitchell. We saw last year with Cooper DeJean. We saw last year with Jazon New. We saw last year with Jared Verse and Brandon Fitz. Good players fall. If there's someone at 29, like a Donovan Ezeraku, like a Savon Revel Jr., I'd point this out to the fellas. It's Savon Revel Jr., not Siobhan. The H is silent. It's Savon Revel Jr., although I think he'll make it a little farther because of his injury. If a Derek Harmon, a Darius Alexander, a Kenneth Grant on the defensive side of the ball, if a Matthew Golden, a Mecca Ibuka, a Gray Zabel kind of falls, and maybe I would stick and pick. But if there's a team like New England wants to come back up, the Browns want to, I might pull Buffalo Bills last year's, trade back 3 or 4 spots. You stay in the first round, and you trade back again straight into the second with the 33rd overall pick, like they did with Carolina to 33. You can get probably another 3rd, another 5th, another 6th. You go from 6 to 9, 6 to 10 picks. You're cool. I just think it's going to based on what the draft board is at the time and who Peters likes. If Peter really likes a guy, I don't see him not trying to move around. Like they really liked Sanderson and Sinnott, so they moved back and they got them both. But they really liked Johnny Newton at 36, so they sticked and picked. I think it's just going to depend on how the board falls. But in my boat, I would move back. I've been doing a few mock drafts where we trade back from 29, go to 35, 36, 37, 38. And we get, a late third and a fifth or something like that. So you get 2 more picks. But overall, I think it just depends on how the board falls.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely that. And also, like John said, if there's quite a few guys that they like and, how they, feel like where we are and the value that you can get for that pick, trading back is definitely on the table because we still got to fill out this roster, especially if we go heavy in a free agency. Then you got to fill out the roster through the draft, and it's one of those things where you kind of just wait and see how it go. But I think that either way, there's definitely going to be some trading back to an extent with so many needing so many guys.
Yeah, so for me, I think they're going to take BPA. I don't think this is a Ron Rivera situation where we draft a player. Oh, Emmanuel Forbes, he had the most picks in the NFL. We need a picks. We're just going to reach for a guy and select the wrong player. I think they're just going to take BPA if it falls to the criteria of how they see the board fall. Push come to shove, they may trade back, which I think is a reality considering the fact of lack of picks that we have at the current moment, as you guys already stated. I think Washington, for me, though, like if I was in charge, the only position I feel like, and I know this may sound crazy, but they rejuvenated. Shout out to Saquon Barkley and all those guys. They rejuvenated the running back position. So the only position I would be willing to take at 29 is running back. Like Omarion Hampton. So I know he probably not going to fall that far. Ashton Jensen, all those guys may not fall that far. But if there's a running back on the board at 29 that you feel like it's not going to be there, that if you decide to trade back to 35, 36, that's the thing too. Like if you trade back, if you have the slightest interest in a player at 29, I think you select them. Because if you trade back and go to 35, 36, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the opportunity for that guy to pop up again. So only trade back for me if you genuinely don't have no interest in none of the guys that are there. Mm-hmm. But if you have the slightest interest in anybody, you might as well just take them.
Yeah, I'm saying in a couple of these mock drafts, like Bucky Brooks and some of these experts, they have it like Ashton Jensen like maybe like 21, 22. So my thing is that, like, if he's right there, do we think about coming up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a situation where the best back in the draft is at 25 and we picking at 29, why not come up and get him? I mean, or is this a draft like John, you kind of like the draft expert guy, so educate me on these running backs. Is it worth a Henderson or a Hampton? Are those guys worth sitting at 29 like Juan alluded to?
If Omarion is there, I'd say yes. He's gonna be your go-getter. He's probably in my book like an Eckler B-Rob mix. He's got the speed of Eckler, he's got that down run ability of B-Rob. I think the combine, as much as people say you shouldn't judge a player, based on the combine, and it's absolutely true. John Ross, perfect example. Speed demon did as much in the league as I did. Nothing. All right. So the combine.
League, bro?
John Ross? No. Yes. Me? Absolutely not. No. Exactly. That's my point. I didn't do nothing either. I'd have been like 5 years old. What you mean? But the combine showed out who will rise and fall. So your Brashad Smiths out of SMU, your Rashad Tuttons out of VTech. Those guys are going to rise up some boards just purely because they ran a sub 4.53. Purely because of that. And Tutton was first in all the categories for running backs: 40-yard dash, 10-yard split, broad jump. And if he did the 220, if he did 220, the 225 drill, I think he was first in that too. So he's going to rise up some boards. Like I would take him if you run a 4.32. Shit, give him and Jaden with an RPO. Lord have mercy. Rashad Smith at a 4.35 with Jaden and B-Rob with a triple option. Lord have mercy. Genty falling is more and more common with a lot of these mock drafts. I've seen mock drafts where he goes to the Chargers, where he goes to the Broncos, where he drips a little bit back there. I've seen him go as high as 6 to the Raiders because they got rid of Josh Jacobs last offseason. So now they're, fresh slate with Pete Carroll. He's going to want his Marshawn Lynch. He's going to want his guy. Ashton Genty would be a Sean Payton guy. Can give you speed, can give you a burst, but can also give you power. People don't remember. Throughout the course of the college football season, Ashton Genty set out 8 quarters, set out 2 full games of football, and it had put up these numbers. Set out an equivalent of 2 games, 8 quarters. Could you imagine if he played the rest of those quarters? What he would have put up? He would have broken every record. Probably would have taken Heisman from Travis with those numbers. So
I mean, it's not a slight to him because like he's my number one back. Like I was been raving about him since I saw him. But I mean, you gotta take in consideration the conference that he plays in, and all of that. Like if he was in the SEC, would he? We don't know. You know what I mean? So
for sure,
competition. So you know what I mean? He's a great back. Not taking nothing away from him, but we still got to put that out there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, conference matters and everything, but we were all hyping up Mac Jones coming out of Alabama. You see what he did. Devonta Smith, we call him Skinny Batman. Man's a stud. Randy Moss, if I remember correctly, came out of, was it Marshall? Was Randy Moss Marshall?
Yeah.
Hey Mo, who calls him Skinny Batman?
I've seen a lot of Slim Reaper, Skinny Batman. I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, have you heard that? John, I've never heard that shit.
I know a bunch of Philly fans call him Skinny Batman. I'm like, what y'all on right now? But I'm gonna take it anyways.
Y'all heard that before?
No, you good. I've heard it before. I've seen the picture.
I heard the Slim Reaper though, but Skinny Batman is wow.
They have a picture of buff AJ Brown and a skinny Batman Devonta Smith right next to him. I've seen.
Okay, respect. My bad, John.
No, you good. But there's a lot of smaller school guys who made impacts in the league. People forget, as all of his career he had, Chad Pennington was, I think, Randy Moss's quarterback at Marshall. If my young mind put me, they both got drafted. Randy Moss is a top 3, top 5 wide receiver in history. I have Jerry as my 1, but that's just me. But some of these smaller school guys make impacts in this league. I mean, Cincinnati's not, a small school by any means, but it's not your SECs. Both Kelsey brothers went to Cincinnati. Both going to have gold jackets in 6 years when they retire. Mahomes went to Texas Tech. He didn't go to Texas. He went to Texas Tech, the redheaded stepchild in the Lone Star State. That man's gonna have a gold jacket in 3 years. That man can have a gold jacket right.
Sauce went to Cincinnati too. So
Sauce Gardner went to Cincinnati. Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of these smaller school guys. Brock Purdy, Iowa State, Mr. Irrelevant. They love, putting up. Well, his first 3 seasons, he got injured. NFC Championship, Super Bowl. Didn't do great his 3rd year. But I was like a quarterback. You put up back-to-back NFC Championship, appearances with the last pick in the draft. Brady, I mean, I hate to keep bringing this up because he went to Michigan when Michigan wasn't the beast. He was 199 in the draft, and he's the greatest of all time. So I think some of these smaller school guys, Mike Green out of Marshall, Jane Higgins out of Iowa State. You've got Clay Webb out of Jackson State. You got Marcus Ware out of Montana State. Hasn't given up a sack in 3 years. Does competition matter? Yes. But are you telling me you want to take a 6'4", I think it's 305 guard who hasn't given up a sack in his college career? I would take a chance on that in the 6th or 7th. And these running backs are aplenty. I forgot the list. There's like 33 running backs eligible for this draft class, and I think 28 of them did the combine. That's 1 for every single team. And then 2 to have a backup. Yeah.
There's definitely going to be. They saying it's a deep draft for receivers, running backs. A lot out there.
Not really receiver, but running backs and D line. That's what they'll get you is running backs and D line.
Yeah. So speaking of D line though, so on the free agent market? Like, what's any guys out there that strike y'all mind? Like we talked about earlier, Khalil Mack potentially. If we don't get a Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa, what's some other guys that are out there that maybe stand out? You got anybody, Juan?
Yeah, man. Hassan Reddick is interesting if you ask me. I know he didn't have a good year last year. But I think anything is an upgrade over what we had. I want to bring back Dante Fowler. I definitely think he's a good guy to bring back. But outside of him, I'm not really that big on Dorrance Armstrong. So
Dorrance got the multi deal though, so we stuck with
yeah.
him.
That's what I was gonna bring up too. Is we kind of stuck with him. Chase Young, I wouldn't mind bringing him back as like my third, fourth option. Or like I want us to do something and also have him like as a backup, And I'm sorry though because I want to go all in. I'm that low on his defensive line unit though. Like if it was up to me, if I was a GM, Deron would be gone, Jonathan Allen would be gone. Oh, like it would be just Johnny Newton and Dante Fowler if it was up to me. But that's how low I am on the defensive line unit right now, as far as getting pass rushes and getting pressure on the quarterback and obviously stopping the run. But if it's not Khalil Mack, if it's not Myles Garrett, if it's not none of the top guys that we've talked about, obviously Max Crosby isn't going to be on it now. I think it would have to be Hassan Reddick. I'm not that high on Josh Sweat, and did they already extend him, or is it talks about
that's
him?
what I was going to ask. They haven't extended him
I'm
yet.
not. I feel like he's a JAG, bro. I feel like he's a normal edge rusher, and I feel like a team's going to overpay for him. And I think that's why Philly probably has not. They already signed Zach Bond. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they're not going to sign him, but that is maybe a little reason why they don't want to sign him back, because I feel like they know he's just a regular guy. Like he's not nobody special. So I wouldn't pay for him.
And if you sign him, you're basically saying that you're not going to bring in a Myles Garrett, because that notion that if we get too close to a deal, that they're going to try to come in and hate and block us from getting him in. Just give them something that they can't, resist the Browns to get Myles Garrett. So that, by them signing him will kind of take that notion off the table. Because what would they do?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I mean, like you said, they are trying to be in the mix for Myles. They just paid Bond. They paid Saquon. Shit, they made Bond one of the highest paid linebackers, or if not the highest paid linebacker, something like that. He got a pretty nice deal. So
it was a 3 years, 51 mil, 34 guaranteed.
Yeah, so they threw that bag at him. Sweat might not have the bread. Yeah, they might not have the bread to pay Sweat.
Or Milton Williams.
Yeah, I forgot about him. They still got to try to figure out something else.
I'd bring him in. If you're getting rid of John Allen, I'd bring him in. He destroyed to a degree. He was putting pressure on teams every week. He became for casual fans, a household name this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then back to the Juan's point about John Allen and Payne. Like, I would even throw the idea out there of getting rid of Payne. I feel like he can give us something, get something back in a trade.
It's too much dead money right now.
Yeah, that's that contract.
Yeah, you stuck with Payne. Unless the team take on more money, and relieve us of some of that dead cap, basically like how if we give them away for a low pick and don't get no real compensation for them, then you in one of them situations where you kind of stuck with him. And we got the cap, so moving him for nothing right now.
It's not smart.
If we were strapped on money, then they probably would have done it.
Yeah, next year he's gonna be in the Jonathan Allen shoes though. He has a potential out after next year, so we can do this dance with him next season if he doesn't have a good season. If he does, let him finish his contract, but push come to shove, he has another mediocre season, he's gonna be gone. He's gonna be in the same exact predicament that Jonathan Allen's in next year. But no, Milton Williams is a good point you brought up. Odigizua, I felt like I looked at that. I said, oh yeah, I wasn't gonna pay him that. I wanted him here, but I wasn't about to pay him 4 years, 56 million.
I was telling Cowboys fans at church and Cowboys camping, y'all gave him the Deron Payne contract. You overpaid for your hometown guy.
Mm-hmm.
For 4 years, like 84 million, gave Payne 4 years, 90. It's the exact same contract.
Yeah, I don't even want to know the contract that I suggested we give.
Oh, I gotta hear this. I gotta hear this.
He said a 3-year, $9 million deal.
Okay.
I'm like, he's not gonna sign for that Reed.
I mean, I know
$3 million a year. Come on now.
That's not as outrageous as I thought it was.
I think Diami is going to get a Christian Kirk type deal that he got when he first went to the Jags. I've been saying that since. Yeah. I've been saying that since. We've been talking about it. Like, I think he's gonna get paid. Somebody gonna take a chance on this potential and give him some guaranteed money and all that. So
I can see it. I can see the Raiders doing it. I can see the Chargers doing it. Carolina to an extent.
Shit, the Patriots got all this money. They're gonna have to spend something.
The Jets.
Yeah.
Jets getting rid of everybody. They're getting rid of Adams, getting rid of Lazard. I bet you 7-1 they get rid of homeboy, what's his face? Who was there? Oh, I forget his name. But I could see the Jets as cleaning house. They already got rid of Rodgers and Adams. I could see them clearing house by now.
Yeah. Do y'all how y'all feel about did we talk about Devante Adams?
We haven't.
We have not.
I'm glad you brought it up.
What's y'all take on him? Y'all want him?
So I'll go first. So yes, I would want Devante Adams. Yes, absolutely. I could care less about the prima donna Devante Adams. He's complaining and he's not a locker room. I could care less about that. In between them white lines, he's an animal. He's going to give you much better play out there. He's going to free up Terry. And can you imagine Devante Adams, Deebo, and Terry? Like with Jaden Daniels running around too? Can you imagine that? That would be crazy. We talking about DK, but Devante Adams, like that's just a whole different level. He can run every route on the route tree. And then you got Deebo on all you moving Deebo around. You got him in the slots, you got him in the backfield, you got him, you bringing him on your reverses, you're bringing him on your all your little motions. Terry, he can stretch the field, he could do the intermediate game. He lives and dies by the slant. Like you meet how can you cover that? You have to cover it straight up. You cannot take nobody else and try to help nobody. You got to play it straight up. And that's going to be, they all going to eat. And then imagine a back out of the backfield. If we get a dynamic back, if Eckler, comes back and he's what he was before out of the backfield, if we don't get somebody in the draft, but if we do get somebody in the draft that can stretch the field and that can contribute in the pass game, that's going to be even better. So I don't understand why people say, oh, I don't want them. Why would you want a dog? Like, why? I could care less of what his personality is. Let him talk. You think Jaden Daniels is the type of quarterback that's going to give into that because Devante's whining about the damn ball?
Maybe not Jaden.
No?
Maybe not Jaden, but he could kill the chemistry and the culture of the team. You know what I mean?
I bring that up.
Yeah. So I got Jaden. Jaden ice cold. Jaden ain't tripping off nothing. Jaden probably be like, man, fuck this. I ain't worried about that. Keep it moving. But
man, I feel like he's going to give whoever's open. If you in his progression, if your ass is open, he's going to get you the ball.
How much do you think he wants to win though? Because Devante Adams is he's a stat me guy. He doesn't care about winning. He
keep coattailing Aaron Rodgers everywhere he go. Like
I'm about to say,
they both it's on a farewell tour together with these bum ass teams. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I'm sure Devante Adams hasn't taken the Hopkins route.
He's still trying to win.
Okay.
If Devante wanted to win, he would go join the Bills.
I'm talking because so here's the thing, and I don't want to backtrack and go back into this, but the Deebo situation. One thing that I keep coming back to, Deebo, the football player, is an animal. He's a dog, absolute beast. But the number 2 receiver, that is what not in his makeup as a number 2 receiver in the pass game wise. That's the only thing that gives me pause. That's why I think
he's gonna be moving around. He's not gonna be on the outside all the time.
Got it.
Yeah, I
got it. But it's a different dynamic if you have another top tier guy on the outside.
I was about to say that's
a different dynamic. That's the point.
I agree.
Yeah, if you're talking about Devante Adams, the football player, and I know he ain't gonna be.
That's what I'm talking about. Strictly the football player.
Yeah, but like that's just not reality though. Like with the Deebo Samuel thing, we can't say strictly football player because we know we're gonna have to Deebo, which your weight is, Deebo. We know we got to keep an eye on that. 49ers fans literally already commented and said y'all getting a hell of a player, but as long as he said a coach needs to be on his back, like you know what I'm saying, kind of like that. So with Devante Adams, the reality of the situation is we know we're not just getting the football player, we're getting the guy that's going to be the personality that's going, you know, and that don't mesh well with Terry and all those guys. I will say though, he was a big fan of Jaden Daniels. He wanted the Raiders to take Jaden Daniels. So I don't know. I mean, I can forgive him for his past comments about the city and about the team on that interview. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All that can go. If he coming here strictly to hoop, then cool. But the football player, hell yeah, you're right. That's the number 2 that we're missing for sure. As far as a free agency though, you know what I'm saying? He's cut, so like that's the best. You know what I'm saying? But he also may still be thinking in that mindset of hell, I'm Devante Adams. I ain't no ordinary free agent, so I want to sign a 1 year, 10, 15
I'm that guy.
He may be in that kind of. He may price himself out of our range. Is essentially what I'm trying to say too.
He might want 20.
But shit, on a 1 year deal, why not pay him that? We got the money.
He might be because 20.
He's A's in a 120, and B, if you have too many cooks in the kitchen, it's gonna burn the house down. You've got Terry, who's a 1. You've got Deebo, who wants to play as the 1. You've got Devante, who's been the 1 his entire career. Too many 1s. Who's gonna be your 1B? Oh, well, it's gonna be me. Well, it's gonna be me. Well, and then you're gonna push Terry as the C. You're gonna push Terry as the 1. Too many cooks in the kitchen is gonna give you a problem, and especially with the egos Devante and Deebo have.
So let me pose this question to you because I get your points. I get all 3 of y'all points. If you're starting a team right now, take away personality out of it. We're talking about strictly football player at the wide receiver position. There are 3 or 4 guys that you're going to pick, and it damn sure ain't going to be Terry McLaurin. And I love Terry. Terry is our 1A. But if we were putting a football team together right now, Terry wouldn't be your 1A.
So if what point are you making though?
Jamar Chase or because his point was there are too many cooks in the kitchen. Like he's Vontae's used to being the number 1. Terry's the number 1. Deebo wants to be the number 1. Deebo knows he's not no damn number 1. Deebo's crazy if he think he's the number 1.
He probably knows he doesn't want to be, but his persona already is I'm that guy. I'm the guy your team needs. I'm the guy every team wanted these past 3-4 years. Even though he hasn't put up more than 800 yards the past 3 seasons, but everyone wants me kind of thing. It's his track record right there. That already makes him that 1 in people's minds, which is going to be the issue. But that's just me.
Yeah, and I'm seeing just to kind of reiterate, we was talking about DK. It might require a second. I'm seeing Anderson. She tweeted that there's a team willing to give up at least a 3rd round pick for Metcalf. So
I was seeing mocks on DK giving up Dontavian Wicks and pick 23 from the Packers for DK. I said,
"Oh,
a first?
Dang.
No.
Damn, a first in Wicks? Woo.
No. I mean, maybe a 3rd in Wicks or a 2nd in Wicks, but a first? Like DT, I'm not putting any disrespect. That's no disrespect on DK. DK is a dog. DK is a physical freak of nature. All right, that man is built for the gym and built for football. But a first for DK, we got Deebo for a 5th. Teams are probably, if Cooper Kupp's not cut, he's gonna be a 5th for Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp was a Triple Crown winner. All right, he's one of the best out there. DK for a first? Ain't no way.
Yeah, and then
we
offensive line. You know what I mean? We saw them trades today.
Jonah Jackson to Chicago for a 5th, Joe Tooney for a 2026 4th to Chicago. So there are guards from Jonah Jackson from the Rams, Joe Tooney from the Chiefs. Ben Johnson did what he was supposed to do. He protected Caleb Williams real quick on the interior.
I'm not mad at that. I commented on something earlier. It was like I can't even hate at the mindset. You got to get that protection in there. So
and those are
they
good
invest
prices,
pretty
honestly.
heavy. Yeah, and I mean, you some solid. You know, I mean, you ain't had to give up a whole lot to get them. And
No.
also, I mean, other than the cap space, though, they are two guys that's kind of paid pretty nicely. But you know, what I mean, what does that leave for us, knowing that we need to get some O linemen? I mean, Reedy was talking about earlier. You know, Mekhi Becton. You know, what I mean, and he's still out there as of right now. The Eagles haven't gave him a deal yet. So, like any other guys on the O line that you guys think we can get? Because one thing to kind of keep in mind is that you know, a lot of the O linemen are getting paid. So do we run through the draft and, you know, what I mean, try to get guys in the mid to the later rounds, or do you see us kind of making a splash with some of the other guys? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'll start. First of all, that was a good point that was brought up about a contingency plan for Sam Cosmi, because he's not going to be ready for the start of the next season. However, people have been saying that he's going to miss the whole season. I don't think so. I don't know how bad his ACL tear is, but it's already talks that he's already back working at the facility. So I think he'll be back and ready for next year. Mekhi Becton is the first option to come to mind, but I think he's going to be a little bit too expensive again. You don't necessarily want to overspend for a contingency plan. Now, it'd be different if we was looking for a starting right guard, but this is a guy that we need to come in. Do you just re-sign Cornelius Lucas? I mean, do you potentially try Brandon Coleman at guard and then draft the left tackle? I don't think that's going to be the case, because I think they truly believe in Brandon Coleman as the left tackle. But there are a couple good options out there for the Washington Commanders to potentially use. I wasn't that big on re-signing Luke, but at this point, maybe, just for the simple fact that let me actually pull up the left guard so I can kind of get, or the guard so I can get some refreshers of who's available at this moment. Brandon Scherf at 33.
Bring him back.
That's really man.
I've been saying, but I don't know if it's what the number's going to be to bring a Scherf back. But my idea about the Mekhi Becton situation is, because, you know, Z was floating the idea out there that Allegretti isn't a starter in this league. So a lot of people are saying that they're not necessarily sold on Allegretti. So if we're not sold on Allegretti, if you're playing guard, you can play on the left or you can play on the right side. I mean, that doesn't matter. So you maybe plug in a Becton until a Cosmi comes back, and then Becton takes the spot from Allegretti. We have to get better in the interior of the offensive line. You know, I think we got a solid center in Biotish. You know, I was listening to what's his name? Grant and Danny today, and they had John Gruden on. They basically were saying that John Gruden wasn't necessarily sold on Cole.
He cut out.
Can y'all hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, like, he has to go back and look at the tape, and that's going to come into self scout. Do they think that they need to get, because we have to be able to block these guys from Philadelphia? And I hate to keep always bringing up Philadelphia, but that is our competition at this point in the NFC East.
Yeah. It's a blueprint.
If they're bringing their guys back, and they've shown over the last, I don't know how many seasons, that they're a good defensive bunch, if we're trying to take the next step and get to the next level, we have to go through them. So we have to have them in mind in everything that we do. Now, if we feel as though that these guys, this front five is going to be able to hold up well against them, then stick where we at. But I feel like we need to bring in one or two offensive linemen via the draft or free agency. I just don't know who's out there in free agency right now at this moment. Because Tony and all of them, I didn't even know they were going to be available.
Yeah. I was surprised to see Tony traded.
Yeah, that shocked me. But there's like a handful of guys on the O-line I go out and attempt. Cam Robinson, the left tackle out of Minnesota, Ronnie Stanley, left tackle out of Baltimore, James Daniel, the guard out of Pittsburgh. He's only 27, and Dalton Risner, the guard out of I think also Minnesota might have been Jacksonville, who's only 29, but it's not the greatest offensive line free agency, and it's not the hottest O-line draft either. That's the problem.
Yeah, I
It's
Will
it's mid
Fries.
across. Will Fries,
Yeah, Will Fries. I saw
Brian Kelly,
Kevin Zeitler or
Kevin Zeitler,
yeah, from the Giants.
Kevin Zeitler, Austin Corbett from Carolina center, Patrick McCarr, the guard out of Baltimore, Morgan Moses, Jedrick Wills.
What's up with Tevin Jenkins? Is he? I heard his name before.
Tevin Jenkins, he's the guard out of Chicago. He was, I think, their draft pick in 21. He's only 27 years old. I mean, you could kick the tires on that. I don't know who is going to be the hottest in on him, and then after really him, it just gets kind of sad. DJ Humphries, Quessenberry, Isaiah Wynn, Dieter, Aaron Bangs, Dylan Radon, Trenton Scott, Cody Ford. Like it's not
got back. Yeah.
Like I mean, you could bring back, Cornelius. You could bring back Trent Scott just for the depth alone, with Cosme out and Coleman as a rotation. I mean, Alex Kappa got picked up by Vegas State, 2 years, $11.2 million, and he gave up the most sacks, pressures, and QB hits this entire season to Joe Burrow. And Vegas was like, we want him. But I mean, but that's the state of this O-line free agency, is the guys who gave up the most pressures, the most sacks, and the most hits was the first O-line to get picked up, and then the two guys got traded. It's a state of this O-line free agency, which is not great.
Yeah, before we move forward, I do want to shout out to Biggie Steve for the super chat. Says scenario, Myles Garrett and a first because we were going to trade back in DK and a third or fourth back from them. Only cost you 18 mil on a prove it. Yeah. So he's saying, and what? Get Myles Garrett because we're going to trade. We're going to give them the 29th pick, and then somehow we get
DK for a third or fourth. I don't know if you get both. I think it's one or the other. I don't think you get both, especially with our capital. We have a first, a second, a third, and 3 sevenths. That's all we got. We have some of the worst trade value in this draft.
Has a team ever traded their whole draft away?
Yeah, the Saints did it for Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams.
And they traded us a draft, and we got Champ Bailey.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys did it for Herschel Walker, no?
I don't know. That was a little before my time, so I ain't know that. But I don't know how that would fly in this generation of social media. But the fans,
recently, no.
Yeah.
If we did that, they'd be pissed. I ain't gonna lie, but like
the last big haul of picks for even just to move up or move back was
RG3 or
no? I'm thinking more recently.
It was a little after that. Yeah, it was a little after that.
I was thinking the
Trubisky.
Might have been, yeah.
Because they moved one spot. They gave it a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a seventh. Like they gave up 4 picks to move in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
What was the? I don't think it was that much, but what was the Texans, Browns?
The Browns moved up for when they traded up, and the Browns played that so dumb. Like they could have had Saquon. They could have had Saquon and what's the other quarterback instead of
Josh Allen.
Yeah, it was one of them situations where they could have had because they traded up and got Baker. They had the first and the third pick or something like that, or the first and the fourth, and they traded up. They could have got the guy they drafted, which was Baker, and still got Saquon because I think Saquon went second.
Yeah, it went Baker, Saquon, someone else, and I think Denzel Ward at 4. I forget who was
one
3.
Of the quarterbacks that didn't pan out.
Was it Josh Rosen or not?
I think it might have been Rosen.
Rosen went 10th. Rosen went 10th to the Cardinals.
No, it wasn't Rosen then. But yeah, I remember that situation. I'm like, why they didn't play that right? They could have had Saquon and Baker though. If they really want to make it, because the Giants wasn't going to draft a quarterback.
I'm dumb. Donald, bro.
Yeah,
I'm dumb. Yeah, it was Baker. Yeah, Baker
Right,
went 1, Saquon 2, Darnold 3, Denzel Ward 4, Bradley Chubb 5, Quentin Nelson, Josh Allen,
Yeah.
Roquan Smith, Mike McGlinchey, Josh Rosen. Because that was also the Deron Payne draft class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
That was
still
a
remember Josh
2018.
Rosen said that they gonna make him pay. And Josh Rosen was talking spicy, bro. I thought he was about to
Man.
be like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
He was supposed to be.
Say it again, my fault.
I said he was saying all that junk like he's supposed to be something. You became someone, a somebody, and a nobody.
So they moved on from him. A year later, got Kyler.
They
Biggie
traded.
Steve. Go ahead.
They came for like a 4th to Miami, and they got immediately Scott Kyler.
Biggie Steve, thank you again. He says sign DK to a similar contract to Terry if we win. So I agree with all you guys. They made a good point, Biggie Steve, is that I think you're gonna have to pick one. You can't get DK and Miles Garrett. I mean, I would love that. If it was some way we could finesse that, bro, like that'd be crazy.
That'd be
but
crazy.
I think it's either or. And I don't know. I was kind of underpaying Terry. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm hearing that his next contract is gonna be about $30 million a year. I was underpaying him only because I ain't think he was gonna want that much or think that much, but he definitely deserves it. So if you're paying him $30 million, I mean, I don't know if you give DK $30 million. That means you're gonna have 60, 70 million tied up into the wide receiver position if you don't bring back Deebo Samuel on a long-term deal, because he is on a 1-year prove-it deal. But if he balls out, you don't want to lose him. So you could if you do that, you can have about 60, 70 million tied up to one position. And is that really smart? I don't know.
It's the same conversation we had when we signed Allen, and then we immediately signed Payne the year after. You've got 80 million tied up into 2D tackles. Is that the smartest move?
Yeah, I mean, but I ain't gonna lie, that's a little different. Okay, Reedy, my fault.
I'd rather have it tied up in offense. Me personally.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I would love to have Miles Garrett, generational talent. But I feel like you can get other guys that kind of could fill that void a little bit. You know what I mean? And if you draft well, you kind of still in the conversation. But at the end of the day, you got to put these points up on the board. Like, these teams are too explosive. And I just feel like to keep pace, because this is year 2. Like, let's not get it fucked up. This is year 2 for Jaden Daniels. The NFL is going to figure him out at some point and take away the stuff that he loves to do. It happens with all of them. It happened with Mahomes. It happens with all of the great quarterbacks. So we would be silly to think that Jaden Daniels is not going to, have some pause a little bit. I'm not saying that they're going to shut him down totally, because I don't believe that. But it's going to catch up with him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the more weapons you can have to take stress off of him, and to get like Deebo is great because it's get the ball out your hands right now. Deebo in space. Like, that's the best thing you can have right now. Like, he could take a play off. Jaden Daniels could take several plays off. Whereas this year, he couldn't take no plays off because everything had to go through him. But if you got other guys like that are up echelon players, then, I'll take the offensive guy always over that.
Fair.
That's fair. And I say last, we got to talk about the cornerbacks. Me and Reedy was talking about earlier. Reedy asked a question. Would you want Reed or Ward? I say Ward. And I said that because of just the height. In my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, Reed is nice, but I prefer Ward over Reed. And I do think that AP, with the 49ers falling apart like they are right now, AP is going to snatch a lot of them guys. So that's something to keep our eye on as well. But yeah, to pose the question to y'all, do y'all think y'all want Ward or Reed at the corner?
And then let me add one thing to that, not to cut you off, but I'm hearing Dre Greenlaw, like, put him in the mix.
That's what I'm saying.
Top 5 linebacker. So if you think about signing a Dre Greenlaw, do you bring back a Bobby Wagner, or what do you do there too?
So I'll go first. First with the Dre Greenlaw situation, that out of all players that are potentially leaving San Francisco, that's the only player that I kind of understand a 1 year proven deal for, is because he just came off a major injury. So they want to figure out if he's the same Dre Greenlaw. So I can understand that. But everybody else, Charvarius Ward, Brandon Ayuk, you should never pay them if you was just going to
Yeah,
have him in trade talks 1 year later. Deebo Samuel, all those guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested in as far as bringing them here to Washington. And for me, I want Mikey Sanders still on the outside. I don't want nobody else. Nah, all seriousness though, Charvarius Ward would be the one, for sure. From just the fit, personnel wise, I feel like he's one of AJ Brown's toughest matchups. He always battles well with AJ Brown. And then on a personal level, he had some very traumatic situations that happened with his family. And he already tweeted out and said the next team that get me is gonna get the best version of him. So it just seems too perfect. You know what I'm saying? The size of the player, the fit of the player, the relationship with Adam Peters, and we already just did business with San Francisco already. And again, with his situation personally going on, man, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, man. And I can't think of a better available guy to pair with Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn, Mikey in the slot, and then Charvarius Ward. Oh man, that'd be insane.
Yeah. I'm all in for Ward for sure.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. I say Ward, but you know, Reed is not a slouch either. I think you still gonna get some good play out of him as well. I think middle linebacker situation, if we could bring in a Greenlaw, we could kind of have guarantees that he's healthy coming off of this injury. Then you don't maybe go re-sign a Bobby Wagner or something like that, because I feel like he's slightly an upgrade at this point in his career because of his youth. Now, we're talking about field general and things of that nature. Then obviously Bobby Wagner is going to get the nod every time. But I just feel like we got to get a little bit younger there at that spot to go along with Frankie Louvu.
We still got Hamilton and who was hurt last year, who they love doing camp. So that's something to think
Jordan
about.
McGee.
Deion Hamilton and Jordan McGee. So
that's my guy.
Two guys
I don't necessarily think I'm sold on these guys, because it's always a guy that's a camp guy that's just this, and then the season gets here and they do absolutely nothing, and then they had a hangnail injury, a soft hit, and like, come on, bro, like we need dogs, bro. Like
we ain't gonna be able to sign them all though.
Correct. You can't keep holding and developing these guys. I don't know. I know John sold on them linebackers, but I don't necessarily know. I don't know. I feel like we need a monster in there. We missed out on Michael Parsons. Ron was scared to move up that year. He didn't want to mortgage the future. So we're kind of we're behind the 8 ball in a lot of these positions. So that's my take on it. But I definitely would take Ward if it came down to it.
Yeah. John Baptiste was a good pick.
JJB, I like that pick. I like that pick.
Joe McGee showed flashes when he was healthy. I think a healthy Joe McGee. We drafted him to be Dre Greenlaw. Like, if you look at the draft, go ahead.
Was he a hybrid safety? I think I remember he was a safety, or was he?
No. So you thinking of McGee? Yeah,
Hampton was the guy that came from Temple, right? Or was McGee?
No. Jordan McGee was Temple. He was a pure linebacker. Dom Hampton was a safety out of Washington, where I went safety, and they moved him to linebacker. He put on a little bit more weight because of his size. They moved him to linebacker.
Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. I would I kick the tires more on Charvarius Ward. Although if we got DJ Reed, I'm not saying a word. I'm saying that's a good signing. I like him. You improve the cornerback room, but if it's between the two, I'd probably go Charvarius Ward, just simply because of the history between him and AP alone is going to prove dividends.
That's very interesting. I know a lot of people are high on Charvarius Ward. I haven't heard a lot about DJ Reed. I know he wanted to come here, or at least he posted on Twitter giving us our props. But a lot of people have been saying, and what I've been saying again solely, just because he's been in the NFC and I've seen more of Charvarius Ward than I have seen the DJ Reed. that would be the guy I go to. But I do got a soft spot. I know they ain't gonna do it, but my soft spot is keep Mikey on the outside and let Noah run the slot. But I'm already knowing they gonna upgrade the cornerback position as they should. And back to the Joe McGee point. He just got to stay healthy. The Adam Peters literally drafted some of these guys to be 49er guys, similar with Ben Sinnott. He literally told him on the phone, "You're going to be like Kyle Juszczyk in San Francisco." It came out that Joe McGee's supposed to be Drake Greenlaw. So, and he was definitely way better than who was it that had to come in that one time this year? It wasn't Bobby, it wasn't Frankie. It was another linebacker. I'm forgetting his name.
Was it Mikael Walker?
Yeah, Mikael Walker. There you go. Mikael Walker, bro, number 32. Well, I was just like, I just lost it because Joe McGee, he was getting hot, man, and then he ended up getting hurt again. So I get you not being sold on McGee yet, and all these young guys. If Reedy was in charge of this whole thing, we'd be training for the whole NFL right now. We had zero salary cap, bro.
All 1A's.
Like
all 1A's.
No mediocre.
Well, in the Rams community, he would say, "F these picks, we getting everybody."
I that's how I live. I live in that Rams mantra. Shit. But I mean, if we look at the Philadelphia Eagles, that's how they built their situation through that draft.
Yeah, but they had top picks though. They had multiple first round picks. That was the great thing for them. They was able to get premium guys in the draft.
They got Jordan Davis without doing a whole. They got Jordan Davis at what 10, and they also had to pick at like 25.
I think it was 9. He went 9 that year. I think.
9.
Yeah. What was the year before 9. The year before they got, or was it the year after they got?
Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Massive. Well, Jalen Carter fell because of some of the Fast and Furious moves, but Jordan Davis just big, tall dude for no reason. That man's like 6'6", 300 pounds. You're like, why are you this big, dude? Make no sense. But yeah, they just know. Howie Roseman knows how to draft, but so does AP. And this year kind of proved it. The fact that we had 5 starters. Yeah, 5 starters is a good start.
Yeah. But yeah, fellas, good episode. A lot of topics discussed. Until next week, I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead, do your rollout, Reedy.
I'm Reedy.
I'm Z.
I'm John.
And I'm Juan. I ain't know which way we was going, and we gonna figure it out. But nah, definitely another good episode. This is just the beginning because next week is probably gonna be even more crazy because the free agency is gonna be officially started at least by the time we start next week.
Tampering period is what, Monday?
Tampering period is, I think, is Monday the 10th.
Monday the 10th.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll have a whole lot to talk about, fellas.
Hopefully, we got some moves to report on, making Reedy feel a little bit better about this situation. I know we're gonna be good, but I'm just, we'll figure it out.
It's cool, Reedy. You ain't gonna be chill until September come. You at Northwest Stadium and you see Deebo take the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. Then you're gonna be like, all right, we good.
I said when Deebo pull a Clinton Portis, Reedy is gonna go the fuck off.
Oh, he will.
Deebo pulls a Clinton Portis, like that Buccaneers game, like something like that. First play scrimmage. Oh yeah, it's up. It's definitely up. It's definitely up.
Hold on, one thing before we leave, y'all want to see him in 1 or 19, or it don't matter.
19.
I said 19. 19. Please go back to 19.
Go back to 19, please. Take that above what more?
From David Moore, Chris Moore, whatever.
Go back to 19, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all right, fellas. Until next time. Also, everybody here, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Follow all of our channels at Reedy and Z, at Ball and Burgundy Podcast, at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Make sure y'all tap in with us. Like, share, subscribe. Like we said, follow us on Instagram. We are the Burgundy Breakdown, and we will be back next week. See y'all soon.